Okay, so today we're going to be solving one-step equations and inequalities. Y'all did this last year in 6th grade, so it's just a little quick review. So when we solve equations or inequalities, I like to draw a line and I separate it into a left side and a right side. That way it helps me keep track of my work. So I'm going to look at the left side because it has a W in it, it has that letter. And try and get the letter alone, or what we call isolated. So what's keeping it company is a 21. That 21 is being subtracted. So we're going to do the opposite operation, and we're going to add 21 to both sides. So the equal sign comes down on my line, and the W comes down because this cancels out. The reason why we do the opposite, so that it will cancel out. Well, 14 plus 21 is 36. And that's your answer. Let's do another one. Okay, this time, let me draw my line. We're going to still look at the left side because that's where my letter is. We have an R, and that line means to divide by -4. So since I'm dividing by -4, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to put a dot for multiplication. Multiply by -4 to both sides. So this cancels out. The R comes down. 14 times -4 will be a -56. Oops. There you go. All right, let's try another one. Y is divided by 8 is equal to -2. Well, I can actually rewrite that like that. Okay? So it would be the same thing we just did. I love problems like this. I love it when it's being divided because your opposite operation is multiplying. So it actually makes it easier because we all know how to multiply. So -2 times +8 is a -16. Okay, let's do another one. We have 3D. Oh, in other means, it's saying 3 times D equals 57. So we're going to divide 3 to both sides. D will equal 57 divided by 3 will be, let me do it off to the side. I actually haven't done this yet. Will be 19. So D equals 19. I didn't even draw my line. I'm sorry, guys. You see how I always show my steps right here, and then I show my work off to the other side. Okay, so that's equations. So now what we're going to do is we're going to solve inequalities. So inequalities is actually the same way as equations, except for one rule, and I'll explain that on a couple problems later. So we're going to draw our line, and I have my left side and my right side. And remember, the reason why I do this is because I ask you what side we're looking at. Normally we look at the left, but this time we're going to look at the right because that's where my letter is. That's where my x is, my variable. So I'm going to look at the right. I'm going to look at the 11. The 11 is being added, so we're going to do the opposite. I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So now you bring down your inequality sign, which is less than or equal to x, because these cancel out. 7 minus 11 is -4. So -4 is less than or equal to x. Personally, I don't like having the variable on the right side, so I'm going to rewrite it. So when I rewrite it, I write my x and I write my -4. Right now, my sign is eating the x. So when I switch it, I make sure that my sign still eats the x. So now this reads x is greater than or equal to -4. All right, let's try another one. A divided by -2 is greater than 88. So since the negative, we're going to draw my line. We're going to look at the left side because of the letter. Since it's being divided by -2, we're going to do the opposite, and we're going to multiply by -2. If my little pin will show up. There we are. Nope. So A comes down. 88 times -2 will be a negative, I think it's 172 or 176, excuse me. Yes, it will be. Okay. So it'd be negative 176. And then this is where the only thing different between the equation and inequality is when you multiply or divide the left and the right side by a negative. You see how I multiplied this side by a negative and this side by a negative? The inequality sign will flip. So as originally was a greater than sign, now it's going to be a less than sign. So A is less than negative 176. So the biggest thing to remember is when you multiply or divide by a negative to both sides, it has to be to both sides, the inequality sign in the middle will flip. All right, let's try another one. So we're going to look at the left side. We're going to look at the 3. The 3 is being subtracted, so you're going to add 3 to both sides. So T is less than 15. Okay, 14. Negative 9 is less than or equal to 117. Draw your line. And you're going to look at the left side. So it's that negative 9 is being multiplied to the end. So you're going to divide negative 9 to both sides. So the end comes down. Divide 9 to 117. Oops, that's supposed to be a 2. So it'd be a negative 13. So I just divided both sides by a negative number, and you're going to flip it to the other side. So your answer will be n is greater than or equal to negative 13. If I wanted to plot this on a number line, you can. So you would have your number line. So let's say this is negative 10, negative 11, negative 12, negative 13. Come on. Man, it's Wi-Fi today. So if you do it, you did negative 13, negative 14. And then the type of circle you put above will be a closed because it equals 13. And then it's greater than 13. So it goes to the right. We'll hit more on this when we hit two-step inequalities. Okay? Thank you, guys.